Hello and good morning. My name is Ali Bernavi.
Hello, I'm Alexander Aparicio.
I'm Anna Molina.
Hello, I'm Gabriel Metrovoli.
And I'm Sean Lauer, and today we're going to be talking about the effects of lowering the voting age. So our question we researched was, to what extent would lowering the voting age impact voter turnout in federal elections? And our group's claim was lowering the voting age to 17 will significantly impact voter turnout. So I researched the ethical aspect of it, and I pulled a part from the 26th Amendment, which states that the right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. So what that's saying is that 18 and up can't be discriminated against. Their vote counts just as much as other people. And yeah, that was because before that was put into place, 18-year-olds were being drafted into wars, and they had no say in the lawmakers and elections that happened that put them into those wars. So this relates to the 17-year-olds if they lowered the voting age, because they do a lot of adult responsibilities. They have to work and do other stuff, which they're not being represented in the people who choose all those laws. So here's a graph called Voter Turnout Demographics by Dr. Michael McDonald, which shows that only about 30% of voters between the ages of 18 and 29 turned out to the elections between 1986 and 2018. So if the age was lowered, this demographic would be increased and voter turnout would be greatly increased.
So some of the futuristic aspects of a lower voting age would be that people will be a lot more informed about politics in the future. Young people have a lot more responsibilities. Young people will be a lot more mature since they'll be taught politics at a younger age, and there would be a lot more young voter participation. As you can see in this chart right here, which I made based off of voter turnout demographics by Michael McDonald, it shows the voter participation of people aged 18 to 29 in 2016. As you can see right here, the red represents people that did not participate, which was around 56%, and the blue represents people that did participate, which was around 44%. And statistics have remained about the same since the 2004 election. And the more that young people are informed about politics, the more they want to participate in each election, and the more people that are participating, the more impact young people have in each election. And the voter turnout demographics would increase by a lot if there was a law implemented that young people would be able to vote at the age of 17.
For economic, sponsors provided money for candidates so that they can appeal to the audiences. And for unemployment rates, Dr. McDonald has some graphs that shows that show the people voting about turnouts and education. Some evidence I have is the 10th Amendment by James Madison was frequently invoked to curtail powers, especially granted to Congress, notably the powers of Congress to enforce the 14th Amendment until it collect taxes. Let's talk about wages and providing money for them.
The closure aspects of a lowered voting age is that parents need to start teaching their kids about politics from a younger age. This is because the kids' belief about politics will be influenced by their parents. Also, need to learn about politics at a young age before they mature and stop caring about politics. This is because once they're grown up, they won't be focusing about politics and they'll be focusing on other things. One more thing, 17-year-olds are mature enough to vote. Like what Sean said, like 17-year-olds these days are doing very important things like getting jobs, getting licenses, doing community outreach services, so they're mature enough to do the voting age. As you can see here, in source 7, the revolution will not be fruitful by Heather Williams. It states, children are the future, but we need to make the future now, before they mature and change their minds. This relates to my evidence how kids are the future and they should be participating in lowering the voting age too. Also, in the 26th Amendment, it says younger citizens are fully mature enough to vote. Most people between 17 and 21 had completed high school, many had received some higher educations. This concludes that, to my points on how 17-year-olds are mature enough to vote because like they're doing responsible things these days, like getting jobs and interviews. Yeah, thank you.
If the voting age is lowered to 17, politicians will be directly impacted in multiple different ways. For example, they will have to pass and ratify an amendment that lowers the voting age to 17. This amendment will be very similar and will be compared in the future to the 26th Amendment, which was ratified in 1971 and lowered the voting age to 18. Most people commonly think of the 26th Amendment as the amendment that only lowered the voting age to 18, but it does way more than that. The 26th Amendment gives Congress the power to override state laws that deny the voting rights to voters between the ages of 18 and 20, and they protect those voters from age discrimination. This means that if there's an amendment passed that will lower the voting age to 17, this amendment will have to follow a similar structure to the 26th Amendment to protect these voters from age discrimination. And when this amendment is passed, voter demographics are expected to be impacted, if not grow, at least on the younger side of the spectrum. As you can see, in the 2016 election, about 70% of voters over the age of 60 participated in the election, whereas only 40% of voters between the ages of 18 and 29 participated. With the growing number of voters comes a growing amount of political opinions that can potentially sway elections one way or another. So politicians will have to come up with multiple strategies to gain more votes, and overall will have to focus on the needs of younger voters. Thank you.
Back up a little bit. And then yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, got a question for each of you. Here are the questions. Sean, you're up first. Describe an argument from one of your peers' individual reports that made you think differently about your team's conclusion.
Okay, so when Gabriel was doing his graph, he actually had used the same chart as me, but he had a different breakdown of the graph, and we had reviewed over it and ended up like kind of combining ours and then having his moved over to a different one. That way, so it then strengthened my graph, and then he chose a different one, which also helped him.
All right, cool, thanks. I gave you up next then. What was the strongest counter argument to the solution or to the conclusion that you guys identified?
So first, we thought that 17-year-olds would just not be interested in elections and people wouldn't participate. But I think that would be different since 17-year-olds would be taught about, like Alex said, would be taught about politics by their parents at a younger age, so they would stay interested in it.
All right. Naya, what is a way in which your team's resolution makes you think differently about your own individual research?
Sorry. Curiosity.
Mm-hmm. What? Yeah, make sure I'm asking the right question. What is a way in which your team's resolution or conclusion makes you think differently about what you researched?
We all just collaborated different to explain other aspects to the different majors.
Okay. Alex, what is an example of a compelling argument that one of your peers' individual reports that you decided to not use in your presentation?
Well, basically, we were talking about like how Ali said like one amendment should be passed to change the voting rights, and show like how Sean and Gabriel show the graphs how the voting age should be decreased to age 17.
Okay. And Ali, you're up last. In what way did you improve your ability to work with the group as a result of this presentation?
Well, while we were creating the presentation and like trying to figure out who was going to go first and organizing our information, it really taught me how to communicate with others. Like, we had some difficulties like coming together to put our visual together, and we had issues with like organizing our information, but overall it really taught, I think, all of us to communicate better with each other and to make time for the presentation and to focus on our work.
You guys are done. You can